Good morning. Good morning. We're back to it. So I see people are asking about Malcolm. I have not seen him in a while. I will give him a call today, and I will report back to you guys this evening during the reveal show what I find out regarding Malcolm. I did understand him to say that he was going to be moving out of Florida. I'm not sure where he was going to go or what has happened since. So I will reach out to him. As for everyone else here, we have a 1958D roll we're going to open up today, and it's one of these right here. We refer to them as a pipe bomb roll because they, well, look like a pipe with two end caps like you would make a pipe bomb. So, anyhow, I'll show you the secret as to how these are opened. I have an obverse end and a reverse end. We'll call the obverse end coin number 1. And so you got to go through and pull the cap off the end here. Just like that. But the coins still won't come out. Okay? So I will teach you how that works by cutting a slit in the plastic. Just in the plastic. See that coin pop out of there as soon as I cut that piece of plastic? Now, the plastic will come unwrapped. Just like that. Just like that. You pull down and over, and the coins will come out one by one by one until it becomes easier. Nope, don't ever hit these with a hammer. No need. This plastic is a soft plastic. See how I'm getting that to just peel back? And you just peel it back. Okay, you take the other cap off too. Forgot to tell you about that. You take the cap off the other end. Because what we're going to end up being able to do is we're going to end up being able to push all the coins straight through the roll. Okay, here's coin number 50. I'll set that aside for a moment and go ahead and continue unwrapping these until I've got, probably about half of them. You'll never be able to reuse the tube, but who cares? Getting the coins out of the tube is the important part. And so you just keep peeling it back, kind of like an old-fashioned roll of lifesavers. Remember how you used to do that? All right. So getting the coins to fall out one at a time by peeling the roll back. It's like a thick candy wrapper. That's all it is. I'm keeping these coins in order as I go along so I can make sure that everyone who has been assigned a coin is going to get that proper and perfect assigned coin to them. Okay. So now I think I'm far enough through that I could take my thumb and actually press on one end, and I could push the coins straight through the tube. Got that one out of order right there. Goes here, just like that. And I'm going to tear this piece of plastic off because there's no reason to keep it there. And now the coins are loose, and we'll just push straight through the tube. Just like that. There it is. The rest of the tube, my coin number 50, and we're ready to get started. So that was the trick. You just put a little slice in the plastic and you start peeling it back like a lifesavers roll. And throw the corresponding bits of plastic in the garbage because there's no reason to keep them. Put my blade away so I don't get cut. Because my blade's saying I cut you. I don't want that to happen. All right. It was pretty simple, though. I mean, it was easy. All right, Paul Hampton gets coin number 1 in this roll. Let's see what we've got. hoping that we find some good RPMs. I don't have any information on double dice for the reverse of 1958 D-Lincoln cents, so we'll look at the first 10 coins just to see what we end up with. And that's coin number 1. Appears to be normal on the obverse. Let's check the reverse and see how normal it actually is. I'm going to need to back up a little bit. Getting into my personal space here. There we go. Back this up. Refocus. And move on. We have a lot of work to get done before Armageddon gets here. Alright, that's coin number 1. Turned out to be a normal coin, so let's move on to coin number 2. See, what do we end up with? For number 2 goes to IT, Indigenous Treasures, Bethlehem. Let's see what we have here. A little bit closer. There we go. And I see nothing, Dr. Jones. No heat gun. No heat gun. This was a pipe bomb roll, which they're easy enough to get into with a blade. Just cut the edge of the plastic and start peeling. And good morning to Wanda. Got nothing going on the reverse on this second coin here. Eric, after my 3 reveals today, Eric will be having a reveal later on in the afternoon. Then tonight we will be having, at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, the roll reveal sale. I have 7 new rolls to go through this coming week. After the roll reveal sale, I will do a live broadcast of the remainder of this week's rolls that were the express rolls. So there'll be a recap for this week's rolls. I didn't get a chance to do a recap for last week's because it turns out that was the week of the fun show, and I had a lot of stuff come up. A lot of stuff happen. And the threat of deadly winter weather. Wanda, are you ready? Are you and the girls all ready for the nasty weather you are about to receive? As I understand, there's going to be probably a couple of inches of snow over your way. Wanda, if you want to do it, Ben Max, I can most certainly get you involved in the roles that we've got coming up for this next week. Say the word. Nothing on this one. Man, these are looking a little bit rough. Just a little bit rough. Oh my gosh. That hit me straight in the heart. I took that directly from a phrase spoken by a baseball great who is now deceased just a couple of days ago, Bob Uecker. When he did the movie Major League, in which was Charlie Sheen, along with a number of other great actors. When he pitched a ball, he was 10 feet off the plate when he pitched the ball. And Uecker was the announcer, as he was normally in baseball anyway. But he says, just a bit outside. And it was so funny. I put that in my vernacular to use through the remainder of my life. And so I use that sometimes when I'm trying to facetiously explain how something is not working exactly correctly. Just a bit too late. You know. Hello, Sean Lyons. Jumping in new to the channel and just bam, what scope do you use? My microscope is it's an Amscope binocular stereoscope with an infinite zoom. I have 10x eyepieces on it so that I get a 7.5x to 35x view, and then I have an 18.5 megapixel camera showing through the trinocular lens hole, and I use a 180 watt Echolite 150 by Applied Scientific Devices with a dual gooseneck lead to a milky coin tube that I'm showing through, and that diffuses the light on the coin so that you can see the shadows properly. That's the scope I'm using. The microscope available at amscope.com is approximately $750. And the lamp, which is no longer available commercially, can be found used for anywhere between $150 and $500. And coin number 6 was for Stan Horn, which I just showed. It turns out it was a normal coin. Now coin number 7. I hope, Sean, that answered your question. If it didn't answer your question, at least it gave you the proper information. If you need more assistance to be led to the proper scope or led to how to find a good scope for you, you can always email me at the email address that you see at the bottom left of your screen. If you'd like to register with Copper Coins YouTube channel, register automatically to get in on these roll reveals or get in on my auctions. I'll be doing a roll reveal show this evening, and I'll be doing an auction Tuesday, tomorrow evening. We'll be able to get in on these roll reveals. Roll reveal, this is specifically a dig through a roll of coins that was announced when the roll was still closed, and people basically purchased coins in the roll prior to the roll being opened. That's why the names are showing up on the back of the flip inserts as I flip through them. So Carl purchased this coin prior to this roll being opened. And what we do when we go through these, we look for die varieties. Any die varieties that we don't already have listed on coppercoins.com will be listed from the best coin we can find in the roll. And then that coin's find will be credited to the person who was drawn for that particular coin in the roll. If we get coins that are better and nicer condition than ones we already have listed, or a different die state from those we already have listed, those also will be photographed for the website. When a coin is photographed for the website, it becomes what we know of as a plate coin. Plate coin is the actual coin used to publish information, photographs taken of that coin. If you get a plate coin, you can get it holdered through NX as a Copper Coins plate coin. And my understanding is that those generally do hold extra value, a premium. Good morning, Farm Dog. And still looking for our first 1958D die variety here. I don't go through 58D rolls as often as I probably should. There's a number of different repunch mint marks for 1958D. I don't know of any real double dies. I mean, there might be a couple of minor ones, but I don't know of anything huge for 1958D. There are a few eyelids in that era that could possibly have spilled over to the 1958D. Coins. 1958 Philadelphia, there's a pretty decent little minor double die reverse known. I have not ever seen one for 58 Denver, though. Well, if you like what you've heard, or you like what you see on this channel, you're welcome to subscribe to the channel. Give me that subscription so that I can continue serving wonderful information about Lincoln Sense to you. If you want to be notified of new videos when I create and upload them, it works for the uploaded videos. It doesn't always work for the lives, but it often will work for the lives as well. Anyhow, the uploaded videos that I'm working on now and educating people about the Lincoln Center are actually getting a lot of hits. They're getting a lot of views, so evidently they've got to be pretty decent videos. You can find them here on the channel, but if you subscribe and like the videos that you see, you'll help me get the word out to more collectors. The more you like the videos that I put up, the more new people get those served into their searches, because it ups my algorithm with YouTube and makes the channel more visible to more people. Doesn't cost you anything, and it certainly helps me. So if you want to help out, just like all the videos that you see of mine. Watch as many of them as you can stomach, I guess. That helps too. Watching hours is where video creators and content creators on YouTube get paid. We get paid by click-throughs on links, on advertising that come up in our videos by the choice of YouTube and Google AdSense. And we also get a push when a lot of people start watching our videos. Model numbers. I don't have a model number on the microscope that I have. Unfortunately, I did not keep that information, but I do have a, it's an Amscope. It is a stereo zoom microscope with a trinocular tube, meaning you have the two eyepieces and then you have a third place where a camera can point straight down and see what's going on. And that's what I have here. That's why my little camera, you can see that it makes itself known every time I stick something under the optics. It is an 18.5 megapixel camera. And the lighting, one of the more important parts, actually probably the most important part of the whole entourage I have here, is the lighting itself. The lighting is an old light box created by Applied Scientific Devices Corporation. It is called an Echo Light 150. It is a 180 watt rheostat controlled halogen light source. It has a dual fiber optic gooseneck that you can use to place the light up underneath the optics of the microscope. And then I diffuse that light with a milky coin tube by sticking the fiber optic ends into the ends of the coin tube, cut the bottom off the coin tube, and then stick the ends of the fiber optics into the either side of the coin tube and shine that light down onto the coin. It bounces back up into the optics and makes it visible for me and you. I don't really know a lot about microscopes. I don't know a lot about how or why this works. What I can tell you is that I purchased my first microscope in about 1989, and I have been using microscopes to look at coins ever since. And it took from 89 until at least 2005, 2006 for me to work up this way of doing things so that you can see in high detail what I've got under my microscope. It wasn't something that was commercially available. Hey, show off your coins by buying this microscope and doing this with it. That really wasn't even part of the equation overall. It was totally a figured out thing over a number of years of buying different equipment and figuring out what works and what doesn't work. I can inform you that I have never found a digital microscope that works really well. All of the microscopes I've ever found to actually work well with coins are what I would call an analog microscope, basically a microscope that doesn't have any power attached to it at all. There's an RPM. There's a nice 1958D split lower serif RPM. It will probably be one of the many, many listed ones. But I can't tell you right now which one it is. I'm not that good. We'll pull that one out for the side. Yeah, that one's going to dirty water. So we'll take a look and see what we can find with regard to listing that one, or whether it has already been listed. Oh, this is an interesting die right here. There is a die chip inside the 9 on this that looks like it could be the corner of a letter or something. Turns out that it is not the corner of anything. It is simply a die chip. But at one point in time, it had been believed that that was possibly the corner or the lower serif of a D mint mark, and that D mint mark would extend beyond the left or the right edge of the 9 into the field, which it does not. And that is why it is not listed as an RPM, because it cannot be an RPM with the depth that is shown inside the 9 and the complete lack of depth shown outside the right side of the 9. But this is an interesting die nonetheless. It's later dice date this particular example, but you can see that angled little raised area inside the 9. That is a die chip. I was sent an example of that coin to look at by one Bob Piazza back in 2002, and I analyzed it and looked at it and told him what I thought I had found, what he had found, what I had in hand, and he and I became friends thereafter and spent years and years working together on copper coins. But it was because of that 1958D Lincoln cent that got started. Morning, Coach's Magic. Don't blaze through rolls too quickly. You'll miss the things you need to see. All right. There's another one of those. Right there. The roll's going to be full of those. Interesting little die chip, but nothing else. Unfortunately, this roll is not the prettiest 1958D roll I have seen, even recently. But you take the good with the bad, unfortunately. And there you have the facts of life. The facts of life. You have an ID school microscope. I'm not sure what that is. A lot of times the school microscopes are the cellular level microscopes that are way too powerful for looking at coins. You look at coins, you need what is known as basically as an inspection microscope. Inspection microscopes generally have a much lower rate of magnification. They magnify generally between 7x and 40x, somewhere in there. 7 times the size and 40 times the size. Whereas most of the school microscopes, An old school, okay. Most of the older microscopes, most of the school microscopes, and other microscopes that you will find rather easily. Here's another RPM for you. Another nice little RPM, 1958D. I take that, pull it off to the side, stick it with the other one, and see what we come up with regard to an ID for that. Bunch of die gouges running around the circumference of the design. Make it a little easier to try to identify this one. Trying to remember where I was and what I was saying before I found that. The older microscopes are generally like 50x to 300x. That's 50 times to 300 times normal size. And they're the ones that you're going to look at the cellular structure in a layer of onion. You're not going to be able to look at design features on a coin using that kind of magnification. I always recommend, and this might sound a little pretentious, but it is just the truth. I always recommend spending as much as you can possibly afford on a good microscope. Microscopes are the difference between having eyesight and not having eyesight in the next 20 to 30 years. The bad microscope or poorly focused microscope can cause serious damage to your eyesight, and it comes on rather slowly. Happens over a lengthy period of time. So lengthy that you may not notice it right away. And then suddenly you find yourself needing glasses or stronger glasses just because you've basically destroyed your eyes looking at coins through crappy optics. I say the same thing for loupes. You need to get the best possible loupe you can afford. If a loupe costs you under $50, it's probably not worth much to your eyes. There are some under $50 loupes that are an exception to that. But generally, a good loupe is going to cost you $50 or more. Score number 32 now. This one for Stan Horn. Getting back into some earlier die state stuff that looks a little bit nicer. Some of that stuff in there was starting to look really rough. Relatively. I was trying to say relatively and really at the same time. You just can't do that. Coin number 33 now, going to Carl. Let's see what Carl gets. No, got that little die scratch coming straight out of the mouth. It looks like he's chewing on a straw. Seen a number of these, and a straw meaning piece of straw, like hay. Not a straw like a drinking straw. You city folk need to learn how us country people talk. Because if you talk about a straw, that's a piece of grass. If you talk about a drinking straw, that's a plastic thing you suck juice through. I'll take tips on the way out the door for giving you free lessons in Southern Draw. It is true that if you listen closely enough, you will learn something every time you come to my channel. It's just a matter of what are you going to learn, and will you ever be able to use it? That is the question. There's an RPM for you. Had to bring it in just a little bit closer for you to get a good look at it, but it does have a split lower serif. What magnification do I recommend for scopes? Anything between 7x and 40x. Looking for 7 power to 40 power. Anything above 40 is too much. Anything below 7 is probably not going to be enough. But please do not go and buy one of those 100, 200 power microscopes and think you're going to look at coins with it. That's just not going to work. Why? Because you're going to see coins basically on a cellular level, not in a design level. This right here, what I'm doing right now is about, I'm going to say roughly 12 to 15x. We come up to here. This is about 35x. 35 to 40x. This is 35 to 40 power right here. You don't need anything more than this. Anything more than this is going to be too much. You also notice as I get closer, the lighting gets dimmer. The reason for that is because of the focal length of how I'm zooming in. As you zoom in, you get less light. Same thing happens when you're taking photographs with telephoto lenses on cameras. As you zoom in more, you need more light, thus a slower shutter time on your camera. Add vowels and drop consonants for a truly southern drawl. That's right. Y'all come back now, you hear? I cannot exactly tell you that I'm a true southerner. I'm a Missouri and Oklahoma, and that's not the South. I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, though. That is the South. And when I was younger, I carried a Southern accent for a while, till I went in the military. When I went in the military, I kind of let it get washed off of me. But there are a number of things that I do still know about the Southern drawl. It's very easy for me to change straight over and start speaking Southern again. You need to learn Cajun French, Acadian, or you at least need to sound like it. You don't talk about crawdaddies. You don't talk about crayfish. You talk about mud bugs. I'm going to go out and get me some mud bugs. Going to have a good old crawfish crawl. Get us some gumbo, some jambalaya. And later on, we're going to have some boudin. Boy, it is boil season. Any day that ends in Y is a good day for Cajun food. Hey, Carl. Good to see you made it back. We're just kind of testing the waters here, checking out these 1950 ADs to see what we come up with. Should be finished with the roll here in just a few minutes. We haven't found much of anything. A couple of little minor RPMs that are going to be hard to identify because they are really kind of minor. Stressed you out in Florida not being able to find boudin? Oh, yeah. Oh, there's another one of those with the die chip inside the 9. Very interesting looking die, but it is not an RPM. One of my favorite dishes, if made correctly, spiced correctly, is crawfish étouffée. Mudbug étouffée. Really good, really good dish. That and, well, I've even made squid jambalaya. You can have shrimp jambalaya. Squid jambalaya. Bunch of things that you can stick in a jambalaya and make it taste good. Good. Oh, yes. That time back in 42 when I spent my time in Shawshank with Andy Dufresne. Quick question on the Express reveals. We're going to make a short numbered video of them and post on your site. First of all, I have found an RPM for Chubby Pup Chaser on coin number 42. Nice little RPM here. And the second one to Carl. I am going to be doing a live video where I bring out images of die varieties found in rolls that were express rolls. However, the first time round, I will not be doing that because I'm behind and need to skip that, but I will be doing it for this week's show. I'll be doing it this evening after the roll reveal. It'll be under a separate cover so people can find it later. But I have finally worked up all of the things I need and worked out all the kinks in production to be able to get something like that going, and I will be doing it this evening for the express rolls for this week, which are 7/17 or 7. Let's see. Let me think. 7/18, 7/21, 7/20. See, 7/18, 7/21, 7/23. I think. No, 7/17, 18, and 21 are the 3 express rolls for this week. They will be tonight, later tonight. Today is going to be a day full of catching up. There's another one with that die chip in it. Well, we know what we can expect. Nothing more than the die chip. But the die chip is interesting. This one's for Sloppy. Sloppy Stacks. Collector invest hoarding coins. Sounds like me. Are you my brother? And bring the light up just a little bit. The light seems to be a little bit too dark. There we go. Just a little bit too dark. Ball 2. Well, hello, Eric. You've already managed to miss one reveal. You're in the second of 3 reveals. Now, nothing exciting. Have found a few minor things, but nothing really exciting. That's an interesting little dig in the die right down there below the chin. Huh. Interesting stuff. Sometimes. I'm just going through rolls waiting for the White Death Armageddon to show up tomorrow. We're expected to get somewhere between 1 and 2 inches of the White Death here tomorrow. Been telling everyone about my preparations. I've only been able to secure 12,500 rounds of ammunition. I may not have enough. I have put the extra thick steel bumpers on the vehicle so that I can drive on the roads and bounce people off into the ditch who do not drive properly. 14 layers of clothing from large to XXL, just to be sure that I can fit into all of them at the same time. Wow. Thank you, Alex. Your check is in the mail. We are going to have a little bit of fun here, I think. I'm going to be having fun laughing at people getting stuck in a half inch of snow, acting like the world is coming to an end. What's up, Collector Invest? Guess what? What? Let me guess. You're going to join this channel. Guess what? Chicken butt. There you go. I know people used to say that over in the Midwest. Guess what? Chicken butt. Hot diggity dog. Well, we have been through this roll. Tripwit gets the last coin in this roll, and we are ready to move on to our third roll of the day. Got just a few little minor RPMs in this roll. We'll see what happens when we keep moving here in about, I'm going to say 10 to 15 minutes. Once I can get myself prepared, I'll come online. You guys be watching for me, and I'll be here. Be roll reveal number 722. Should be out there in the channel, ready to turn on anytime. I'll see you guys and be back soon.